The new Assassin's Creed trailer just dropped last week, and you'd think that people would be more excited to see the franchise finally release its long-awaited Japanese installment. But unlike any AC game I've ever seen before, within minutes it was already stirring up controversy online. And it all centers around this guy. But that's by design. Yeah, in my opinion, Ubisoft intended for all this to happen, and it's for pretty slimy reasons, where nobody wins except for them. And you're going to want to stick around to the end of the video because I may not be taking the approach that a lot of you think I will. To understand this whole controversy, we got to understand who this guy is. His name is Yasuke, and the first thing I need to point out is that he was indeed a real person. He's actually commonly known as the first Black Samurai. This actually isn't even his first appearance in pop culture either. Anyways, his actual history gets a little tricky though. It's widely agreed upon that he came over to Japan from Africa and served under Japanese warlord Oda Nobunaga. And this is where the story gets a little murky. One story is that he served under Oda as his retainer and muscle, and would go on to eventually become a samurai, the first Black Samurai as I mentioned earlier. But other retellings say that Oda kept Yasuke around for his own humor, almost like he was a plaything. And Yasuke never really became a samurai, at least not a full-fledged one anyways. But his history isn't really that important in my opinion. Although the series often features historical figures, Assassin's Creed isn't known for giving one-to-one retellings of history, which brings me to the controversy. Look, there's plenty of reasons that people are upset about this, and some hold a bit of weight, others not so much. One silly complaint is that Ubisoft won't be telling an accurate representation of history, that this character's background will be rewritten for the sake of the video game. But like I said, Assassin's Creed has never been an accurate retelling of history, so it's not unreasonable for Ubisoft to take some creative liberties and explore a story in more detail. They're not in the business of making documentaries, just squeezing us for every single. Now there's obviously limits to this. If they stray too far away from historical accuracy, then that could ruin immersion, and overall make for a worse product. I also don't blame a lot of people for getting suspicious about this given everything we've been seeing in the gaming and film industry as of late. Not to beat a dead horse or anything, but the whole Sweet Baby Inc debacle wasn't that long ago, and it highlighted some of the outright racist practices that were going on behind the scenes.
I think inclusion is great, right? But when you're looking at a company like this, where their whole, shtick is that, it's pretty bad when some of the people behind it are making rather uninclusive statements. It's okay to have diversity and inclusion and shit like that, but constantly doing and having these talks is not good. I cannot take you seriously as an inclusive company when you're actually excluding a group of people off the bat.
Companies like Sweet Baby Inc help facilitate an environment where everyone's so wary of popular characters being woke or being part of an agenda. Like, it's gotten so bad that a lot of gamers just flat out have brain rot. Like, they see wokeness where there is none. But now for the real reason Ubisoft decided to center the game around Yasuke. In my opinion, of course. For some reason, Ubisoft really took their sweet time giving us an Assassin's Creed game that took place in Japan. They took so long that a game that scratched that itch was already made. It's called Ghost of Tsushima. And given the similarities between the two games, it's almost inevitable that AC Shadows will be compared to Ghost of Tsushima. But it's such a high standard to compete with. And Ubisoft hasn't really been producing bangers as of late. They honestly can't seem to catch a win with all the controversy and backlash that they've been facing over the past few years. So what's one of the easiest ways to hedge against the backlash? To defend against the negative reviews of their potentially mediocre game? Use diversity as a shield. Look, I'm not really one of those people who complains about everything being woke or whatever. I just don't care as long as the product's good. But I'm not naive in thinking that these companies make these decisions without purpose. And we've all seen this shit pulled so many times. Companies will shield themselves from valid criticism by publicly classifying their backlash as hate and harassment. And that's not to say that there won't be a loud minority of people who review bomb or take things too far, but now they have an easy way to group up all their negative criticism under one umbrella. Why else would this distraction be useful? Well, their recent Star Wars game was the subject of controversy because of... Okay, I really don't care about this, but I'm talking about their pricing structure. Ubisoft has been adamant on squeezing us of every dollar they can. And what do you know, they got the same pricing structure for this game too. To be clear, I don't really care about the controversy around this game. Will I be pre-ordering? Nope. Will I buy it on day one at full price? Not a chance. But that has less to do with the game itself and more about the people that are making it. I do hope that they're able to make a good game because I've always enjoyed the AC franchise, and I do plan on playing it at some point. And if it does suck, well, I guess I can always revisit the PS5 version of Ghost of Tsushima. But I'm curious to know what your takes are on this whole controversy. Which side do you fall on? And do you think the game will be any good? Let me know in the comments below. And if you're new here, I'd really appreciate it if you could go ahead and leave a like on the video and subscribe for more videos like this. With all that said, Thanks for watching and stay winning. You know, initially when I started making this video, I didn't really see too many other videos saying this stuff. Like, they were mostly just focusing on the actual controversy itself, but yeah, it looks like there's a lot more videos talking about this now. So, man, I gotta get these videos out sooner.